Good morning, everybody. Before we get to what's happening this morning, different markets, I thought we'd take a look at this page because pretty much, well, Bitcoin's updating here, but everything yesterday looked like this should be followed through lower because everything was bearish. But one of my thoughts was in the latter part of the day was, okay, it's kind of holding the level a little bit under the June lows in the S&Ps, but maybe we get a 3-day reversal. So if the markets can hold up, maybe that's what happened. We get today and we get that bounce, but pretty much everything was going lower yesterday in unison. And we had, let me just get this little drawing thing out here. Ag's going down. So to a certain extent, those that are looking, hey, for this inflation backing off, that was kind of a good thing. But recession, confirmation, okay, all of these different sectors confirming in different ways. So ag's going down. Metals were going down. The dollar was advancing. We had commodities breaking down under the lows here. Interest rates were pushing up the 10-year, pushing up toward 4%. Now, Bitcoin was just hanging there doing nothing. The dollar was ripping. Emerging markets, which move inverse with the dollar, they broke down. There was confirmation. Blackstone, an advisor, that was breaking down. It's one of the sectors to keep an eye on. This was the main one. And then here we had energy also breaking down. And of course, the S&Ps were down here near the June lows and the VIX pushing up toward this prior high, which was where, okay, if it can get up there, that's typically where we get a reversal in the market. So the question is, this morning's move up here, is it, just a reaction to being near support, buyers step up? And the question is, at the end of the day, does it actually hold on to the pre-market gain? And do we get that 3-bar reversal, or is it turn into another down day? That's the unknown. So we'll just have to see how it shapes up throughout the trading day. So what's happening now? Let's take a look. Interesting, with everything, certain things being up that were alignment with, okay, a bounce happening. We've got the 3-month interest rates continuing to move higher. Usually they'd be down a little bit, but they were on support here and, at a place where buyers would step up. So maybe a reaction, we'll see if it gets through that high. Just taking a look at internals quickly here. I mean, this is about as extreme as breadth gets, and you get a bounce. Why it going down like this, we don't have more put buying, is interesting. But the ideal scenario would be that this would be down here and be okay. Historically, everything's lined up for at least a bounce, for the markets to pop up here. And you can see how this has come down vertically. We've got a measured move here. We've got measured moves on the weekly time frames, showed you that yesterday. So whatever type of bounce forms, that's all it is. Because until momentum slows down in a significant way, or there's a retracement that's deep into the prior move down, it's just a technical bounce within, this bear market downtrend here. So, and technically we know it's at this prior low and there's going to be buyers there, technical analysis 101. All right, so going through our normal, here you got the spiders, same as the S&Ps coming down here. And so this 3-bar reversal potentially, and you see where they are, they're backing off a little bit now, but we always look here, they are 370. That was near yesterday's high. That was about the high the day before. And so the question is, hey, can we get a green bar here today? And so, if we had that, just historically, 3-bar reversals are a lot more reliable than a 1-bar reversal. Not that a 1-bar reversal can't move up. Sometimes they do. But here, see here, you've got 1, 2, 3, and then the wide range bar. You got 4 bars relatively in the same area. This one had a little breakdown under the lows, these 2 lows right here. And then it's like, okay, here comes the bounce. Okay, fine. Gets up to minor support resistance in the 20 MA, and here down it goes. It tries to hold this low, continuation pattern. And now, can we get that 3-bar turn or not? And you can see the weekly chart. Here's the other measured move. It's down at support. It just, technically, it makes sense to have some kind of stabilization and some attempt to move up here. We'll see how it turns out. Futures. Right. So again, this low is in the same area as this low, and so far overnight in the same area. Can it close green? Can it close up near the high? What does it do? And then again, as it's holding this, we can see the accumulation that's happening. And we'll see if it gets through here, how it plays out. Which leads us to SPX, which I have to take a look at here. So the downside, as far away as we can get, I always mess up my TC2000 on the weekend. Let's look over here, where there's some premium, 35.90. I think, it's under 3,600. I think that's good. I think that's really good. With 3 bars here, you see, what's good about it is, look, before it even gets close to there, we're going to know things are going wrong. If this breaks these lows here. Let's go to SPX. Right? If it starts breaking yesterday's low and goes under, this area right here, we got something to think about. It's still far away, but still, it's as close as to a no-brainer as we're going to get. Markets are stabilizing here. Buyers are stepping up, anticipating the bounce. Internals are cooked. So we got enough things in alignment to have a relatively high level of confidence that it's not going down there. Now, is there anything that makes sense on the upside where there's this potential for it to go higher? Well, of course, we go higher to where? And there's the top of that bar could be as far as it gets, 37 and a quarter-ish, but then it's got a gap. You can see my little prices there, 37, 50, 60. So we'd want to be at least there or higher. Whoa. That's a lot of juice up there. 37.85. Thank you, McGrath. I don't know why this might be going to another month. Anyway, 37.85, McGrath has helped me with that. Should be a no-brainer. Iron Condor should be a no-brainer. You'll see which way it goes at the open if you choose to, but both of those are far enough away. All right. Other markets, NASDAQ futures, same thing. We see very similar patterns across the board as we go through all of these. Again, can it hold on to the gain? You see it's at the resistance. Does it go sideways here? Whatever it's going to do, we'll see how it unfolds. Russell, same story, holding on here. 3 days in the same area. That's a good setup for a counter trend bounce. It's a good setup for, it's a good setup initially, right? At the end of the day, if we've got a green bar, well, how big as it is, the bigger the bar is, the greater the probability of no-brainer put spreads. If there's premium on whatever you're looking at down below, and most of that is all going to expire, you got to go to the end of the week. S&Ps we already looked at. And the Dow, same story here. And you see no surprise why it stopped, where it did. Just look to the damn left. You see all those pivot highs up there? There's going to be sellers. And there's a void above. So again, can it hold on to the gain here today? What does it do throughout the day? And then if it hangs up here, if it gets through here, it's time to, press the accelerator on the long side. And we'll see how high it gets into this how far it can retrace here. Now, if it only, just looking at the Dow here, if it only can get well, it should get up here, but let's just say it gets up to where my cursor is there, 30,200 or so. That should be where sellers start to get more aggressive. And, you see these overlapping opens and closes. That's where the congestion is. You see it? So when you're looking at a higher time frame where you're compressing data, this is your area that there's going to be sellers because it's a consolidation in a smaller time frame, overlapping opens and closes. All right. Bitcoin, right? Coming back from the cliff, not bad. On support, right? So that's a positive. Beginning of a turn there. And why is it the cliff? Because there's nothing underneath here. You can see the little congestion right there, and it's been taking quite a long time to build up here, but that's it's initially a good sign. We'll see again, has it hold on to this gain, and things are backing off here pre-market at the moment. Silver, had this blip up and coming back in here, which leads us to the dollar, which continues its move higher. It's backed off a little bit here. You can see the pre-market chart there, but nothing of significance. I mean, it's getting extended, so to back off a little bit is normal. It doesn't mean the trend is over. And gold stabilizing, it's down a bunch. Is there anything to the left? No. You can see these pivots here. That was a significant support point in the gold futures, and now this is breaking down. It's a little extended. Maybe it bounces a bit, which would be normal. The trend is down. Oil, that broke its support. The prior lows are down here under 70, but you would think it's coming somewhere down here. So far today, short-term stabilization. And transports, they're getting killed. It's on this pivot low now, 12,000. So everything we look at supports at least having a short-term bias that the markets can bounce. And we'll see how it plays out throughout the trading day. Where sellers come in, do they hold the lows? Where does it close? And we'll take it from there. That's the process. And other than that, I don't think there's much else going on here. The dollar backing off a little bit if you're trading currencies, maybe some intraday. Not in this, what a mess on the 5-minute chart. I was going to say maybe some opportunities in currencies if the dollar is going to back off a little bit. I don't trade Forex. Futures are much better in my opinion, but no clean patterns here. And that's also a mess. So kind of quick for me today, but pretty obvious what's happening here, and we'll see how it unfolds. And that's it. To you, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, I posted a number of put spreads. And as Greg said, the difficult thing is, I had somebody email me this morning saying, "Hey, Dan, how come Airbnb is this 30-minute high and not the others?" And I said, "Good question." And I said, because Airbnb was already trading over yesterday's high, which means it would trigger immediately at the open. And I said, I want to make sure this gap is going to hold, is why. So remember yesterday, we actually did a 0 DTE on spiders and had a beautiful gain in less than an hour or whatever. And so today it's just, but I saw these topping tails into the close everywhere. So it's just illustrating the exact point that Greg's talking about. We're starting off good. Where are we going to end? If we end with an identical bar well, it ain't gonna be identical because of the gap up, but a topping tail closing near the low, then that's a day trade short tomorrow. Because then you got 3 bars that attempted to stabilize that's still weak. But yeah, we with that breadth being cooked, we're totally waiting for the turn to trade swing trades and put spreads for the bounce. Absolutely. So yeah, we're in total agreement here. We just need to see if we're going to hold. So that's the answer to why I did 30-minute high. I mean, we obviously have to do SPX because there's no 0 DTE on spiders, unfortunately. ABBV though, this one I don't care about 30-minute high, because if today's Tuesday, if it takes out Friday's high, then I'm okay with that. It's a put spread under the 20 MA. BDX, just another Climo, has to get over yesterday's high. Now this is not a potent turn, I get it, but it took out these prior lows. And if the market's at a turning point, I think even if it doesn't go up a lot, I think it's gonna hold. Mister was in the weekend letter as a put spread, and it is doing exactly what I was thinking that it might do. It made a new low. This was what I saw. I saw this over the weekend, of course. So it made a new low, narrow bar. And I said, if it can get back above this topping tail now, then it will be a whatever 6-bar turn. And so far it's holding. So with these, Bitcoin bouncing, we can take a look at Bitcoin stocks again for put spreads and ETFs. Rahul asking about DHI short and Pelletier. Yeah, it's fine. It's at a prior low, but it's in a downtrend. It would be a gap negated. So yeah, set an alarm at 68.50 and keep an eye on it. Pelletier, it's a sloppy bottoming pattern, but it's worth watching. That's my answer. It's a sloppy potential bottoming pattern. We have a couple of shorts that were in trail mode. Goldman Sachs, PGR, had moose not break even. Texan. I think there's another one or whatever. I got all my alarms in. We're in trail mode. All right, Chevron shutting down oil in the Gulf with the storm coming. Yeah, oil got whacked. I don't like the gap breakdown. So I don't know, other than a day trade, I'm not crazy about that. I saw that yesterday, Thomas. The only problem is it's a potential double bottom, new low plus. Or it's a potential 1, 2, 3 lower. I really don't know yet. But with the market down a lot, they're not no-brainers. The ARC lady was on. She's just having to do what she does, doubling down. She's saying, yeah, I know we're down, but doubling down. What else can she say? She's not going to say I'm wrong. So let's we can check out all those ARC ladies later. I did hear her say that she's been buying Roku. She does not have a good technician on staff, I can tell you that. Look at that nasty downtrend. Yeah, so what did in there? Thanks. And I think the market cap, at least, the news likes to point to something just to have something to talk about. They're also pointing to the Fed. Evans guy was talking early somewhere. And I guess Joe Kernan was saying, and there were some words in there about, maybe we can have a soft landing. Who the heck knows? I don't think there's much agreement among the 12 people of what they really should do. So I just ignore it, take it day by day with our approach. All right, Riot. So here's a Bitcoin ETF, a little breakdown failure. So that is a potential put spread, 30-minute high. We got some housing data coming out and consumer confidence at 10, but that's a power move down. That doesn't look very good. Charlie, Mike, it's a Climo. It could be. Set an alarm at 45, Chandra, and then we'll take a look at it, see what the market's doing at the time. So Airbnb we talked about. Yeah, Riot, Mara, Hut. Those are kind of my three go-tos in the miners. But they're, fundamentally they're having a hard time. Why? Well, because Bitcoin's down. There's a limited supply of what they're mining for. It's very expensive. They're energy hogs. So they got a tough business model. I'm afraid this is one of these battery stocks that's just been on fire here, gapping up. That could be 30-minute high trade. I mean, I challenge you. Can anybody take off the candlesticks? Can anybody find me very many charts that have these particular moving average alignments? If you overlay this with what the broader market's doing, amazing relative strength right there. So that's a watch. Lou asking about GBTC. That's a Bitcoin ETF. It's gapping up to 12. There's no pattern. I mean, I'd say if you just won in the space, 30-minute high, stop yesterday's low, or under this closing pivot, but it's just not clean to me. Riot is a superior pattern to this. I know they're different things, of course, but LSID gapping up. Why am I looking at that? I have no idea. That's junk. Boeing, potential Climo, but that is such power down. I don't even trust that for Friday. If tomorrow were Friday, then I'd say sure, do 30-minute high under yesterday's low. But that's power down. Phase, that sounds like bio to me, is it? Yeah, it's a nice little bottoming pattern. No, it was a SPAC. Whenever you see things flatline to $10 and then they get crazy, that's a total SPAC. But yeah, and today here's the place to enter that. Absolutely. Gaming, all right, cool. Splunk. Same as Boeing. Power is down. If it were Thursday, I would do a put spread, but I don't know. I posted a couple that I feel better about for Friday than that one. Same here. Look, it met its measured move from here to here down. But I'll keep an eye on this one day by day. Oh, Splunk got earnings. All right, cool. Kenobi, strong. That's a pro gap. That's worth watching. Let's just see where it turns into the gap. Calm, I think, had earnings, and that's gapping over yesterday's high, so I like that. I'm going to put that in this bottom window, so that would be earnings. All right, you said Splunk did. All right, let me put Splunk there. So these are potential 2 earnings put spreads then. Kerbal had earnings 102. I have no idea what to do with that right now. We'll come back to you. On fee. Let's see, so Climbos, we like them on support and also potent reversals. Those are like, and then, a bunch of fluid bars down from the 20. So this one's on support, but again, power move down. You got to be careful taking counter trend trades that are in power modes. Okay, so this I like. This is kind of, whatever, 5, 6, 7 bar turn. And I like the volume. I think this was, this had earnings too, so I can't tell where it's gapping. But yeah, I'm going to put that on a list. Other computer, AVA. JBL, $58. It's just gap into no man's land. SNX earnings. Again, another power move down. Inferred 105. Gap none of those lows. Nothing to do. This is a short watch from yesterday. Closing breakdown, daily, weekly. Looks horrible. Chewy, I mentioned the last day or two, if this is a double bottom, new low plus, breakdown reversal. But I don't like yesterday's topping tail. So we'll let's come back to that in 30 minutes. Plant was a Climo yesterday. That's still on my Climo list. The only problem is I don't have weeklies. CHRW, one of these trucking stocks that got beat up on FedEx, but it's down. It made another, measured move down. So I have that on my naked put list. The 85s for October are still pretty juicy. BDX I mentioned. WDC is a Climo, but there's no turn yet. This thing is just getting dumped. John, we talked about phase. It looks good. This is the one I said over Friday's time. We'll do a put spread. Charter. I did the chart of the week on this, and another Climo. It's being dumped. No sign of a turn, but I guarantee you we will get a turn one of these days. Hotels had a beautiful day yesterday with Macau opening up. We can see if we can get some 1, 2, 3s. Tan over yesterday's tail put spread. AMPX. Well, 1900 AD line. This is a recent IPO. I'm just saying if you'll give us a setup. All right, plant 30-minute high, day trade. And keep an eye on it. SMG, this thing's been gotten killed. I'm watching this. It will turn someday. I'll tell you when I see it. Surprised I don't have more alarms going off. When we got on the Dow 30, everything is solid green except PG down a few pennies is all. Daniel, I mentioned this as a short watch under yesterday's low.